All right, so we're setting up stage right now. What I'm going to do is welcome back the president of HFS, our research services leader, Saurabh Gupta. Many of you know very well. He's going to be joined by Priyanka Chaudhry, EY's Global Deputy Vice Chair for Managed Services. They're going to have a really open and candid conversation about how managed services is evolving in this services as software economy. How is it going to change, and what is the role of a company like EY seeing as it deals with its customers around the world? Saurabh, Priyanka, please join us.
All right. Good morning so far.
Good morning.
Yeah. Neeraj knows I'll always ask this question, so he was ready. So Priyanka, why don't you quickly, let's get going into this. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself to us? What do you do in the EY universe? And then also, why is this moment right for managed services? Why should ambitious enterprise leaders pursue a managed services agenda right now?
Awesome. Yes, I love talking about this topic, so it's so good to be here with all of you. Priyanka Chaudhry. I help lead our managed services practice globally for EY. So that's the strategy and execution of all aspects of our managed services business. I'm actually based here in New York now, as of 2 weeks ago. Most recently, I was in Bangalore, helping transform our own delivery services organization. So it's really great to be back. A little bit about the managed services business and why this is such an exciting moment in time for us. When we stay really, really connected to CEOs. So we do a CEO pulse survey every quarter. And one of the things we're finding is that the volatility and the pace of change, both the velocity and volatility, is unprecedented. I think each of you experienced that as well. And it's been evident in the conversations we've had the last couple of days. And they're not expecting that economic and geopolitical environment to ease up, at least for the next year. So that's just one aspect of change we're experiencing. The expectation from each of us and from other business leaders to continue to innovate, right? Take advantage of AI, Gen AI, other emerging technologies. That's the second aspect of change. The talent agenda, right? The competition, fierce competition for talent to attract, retain, but also help people see sustainable career paths. You've talked so much about how people are reacting to AI, how they're embracing it, and what do career paths look like in the future. Right? That's another aspect that we're all working through together. Cost is always a topic, cost transformation. And then we think about the regulatory landscape, legislative landscape, just the complexity of changes that are occurring on regulated topics like data privacy, tax. So all of these things are coming together that are driving complexity for leaders. And what are people doing about it? So there's so waterfall of it, right? We're finding that bold leaders are actually embracing this time for continuous transformation. They're leaning into that change. And they have a strategy of really a portfolio of transformation as you move forward. So how do you successfully drive that transformation, right? Your current operating model is not necessarily set to be able to sustain that level of transformation, and this is where managed services comes into play. It's the ability to take your critical business functions, right, and really turn them into strategic capabilities, be able to rely on a business partner who can help you infuse and embed AI in a trusted way, help you manage the risk through the enterprise, and unlock value across. We talked a lot about silos over the last couple of days as well, so across the enterprise. That's why we think it's such an exciting time.
Yeah, no, I think that's very eloquently said, Priyanka. I think fundamentally what we see is, on one hand, every enterprise is operating as if we are in a recession. Whether we are or not is a different matter, but budgets are flat to declining, talent is an issue. And on the other hand, there's economic uncertainty, as you mentioned. And on the other hand, everybody wants to be digitally transformed as of yesterday, right? And I think if you look at it as a Venn diagram, managed services is probably at the intersection of how you can achieve both these diametrically opposite agendas. So I think that's the question that I do still have is, how is the managed services model itself changing? because it will have to change, right? We've been talking about services as software, the advent of AI. Managed services was always a people-led model. So how is that model itself changing?
Yeah. And we've talked about this a lot. So as we continue that conversation now with a broader group, as we think about how operating models have evolved, right? We're all familiar, and I'm not dating myself by saying this, with the days of really shared services and how the focus was on technology and talent augmentation, but really focused on structured activities. And then we evolved into global capability centers and GBS organizations where we were focused on the middle office, right? So complex topics, but with a deeper investment in talent and technology to help drive more technologies through the more complex regulated topics. And now as we're thinking about the future, right, really embedded and infusing AI throughout the managed services delivery as well. As we think about future operating models, you almost think about an enterprise twin, right? So this is AI infused through all aspects of the enterprise, all of your functions, but still talking together. And the ability to be able to identify opportunities across different aspects of the organization so the value isn't locked in or focused in specific silos. And that's how we're thinking about the transformation, because you do need a trusted partner that can help you unlock value across, whereas you could capture it in a narrow part of the organization or not at all. And that ability to be able to identify opportunities for risk mitigation, to identify opportunities for finding new ways of driving innovation through all aspects of your functions.
Yeah, no, that's. So let's double click further.
Okay.
Let's double click into EY now.
Okay.
Right? Everybody knows EY as an advisory, tax audit powerhouse. But as you start to look at services and outcomes delivered almost like products, right? How do you change your own culture? How do you change your own delivery model? To avoid being disrupted in a way.
So trusted long-term relationships are just part of our DNA. And you said it, Saurabh, right? So we have long-term relationships, whether through tax compliance engagements that we do year over year, through our history as an audit firm, right? Those are long-term relationships. On the advisory side, we advise on really complex business transactions. And the trust and the long-term relationships, again, that you build through that, that's really part of who we are. And one of my colleagues is here today, Sherry Sullivan. She runs our global payroll operate business, so our global payroll managed services business. And I love how she refers to it. She refers to it as completing the circle, because you have the advice, you have the compliance, and managed services really completes that circle. And that's why we're so excited about how it fits into our overall strategy, because that's who we are. As we think through how we are changing our delivery or continuing to evolve our delivery, right? So delivery starts with the investment in platforms. Our platform, from a global technology perspective, is EY Fabric, in a scalable modular platform with AI enablement, which really put us in a great position to be able to take advantage, right, of AI and Gen AI. So our EY.AI framework, which takes deep domain expertise with agentic and other AI capabilities. And then our alliance ecosystem. We have a strong ecosystem. I heard somebody else say it yesterday that we can't do it alone. So our very strong ecosystem of alliances, most recently working with NVIDIA, we've launched hundreds of tax agents, and that's just one aspect of how we're influencing our delivery. But really at the heart of it, it's our people, right? So we have more than 400,000 people that range from distinguished technologists, that range from supply chain specialists. They are experts and deep specialists in different domains. And investing in their elevation and empowerment is really how we expect to bring not only the confidence in managed services, but also the value unlock with it.
So people, ecosystem, technology, all of that is changing. So ultimately, Priyanka, do you think we've been talking about services as software for the last, 1.5 days now. And at HFS, we've been talking it for 1.5 years now. Is this going to be deflationary? Is this going to cannibalize managed services, or is it going to actually accelerate managed services?
So if we summarize everything that we've just even talked about in the last 10, 15 minutes, right? The complexity of change, the expectation from leaders who are focused on driving growth, and the confidence that you need to be able to shape that change and embrace that transformation. All of these elements have to come together, right? The ecosystem of alliances, the investment in technology, but ultimately the people who are going to be able to step back and say, what is all this information really telling us? And how do we translate that into value, not just in a specific function, but across all aspects of your business and understanding your value chain. So I think it'll accelerate, and actually the managed services focus will continue to stay strong. But they complement each other.
So you're optimistic. So Priyanka, we have a diverse group here, right? We have IT leaders, we have technologists, we have a lot of GBS leaders, finance leaders. The one common thing across what we've heard is everybody feels AI is really sexy, but very few are able to scale it up and go to the next level. So what's your one piece of advice for enterprises who are trying to navigate this whole shift within agentic AI, services as software? What would be that one or two words of wisdom for them?
I think appreciating how complex change is for people and the human element of change. So we do this we did this work over 3 years with the State School of Business, with Oxford University, just really looking at transformation programs. And 96% of all transformation programs hit a point, that inflection point that will determine whether they continue to be successful, whether the transformation endures. And what really it comes down to at the heart of it is how we help our teams and our people navigate through that change. And frankly, all of us as well, right? We're human as well as leaders. So how do we navigate through that change? How do we create the conditions that that change will endure? How do we communicate it to people? And what do we help them see from a vision of the future standpoint? So I think not underestimating and really focusing on that would be the one piece I would share. I think the other topic that we haven't really talked as much about, it's been alluded to a few times, is what are the other implications of AI, right? AI for good. So a program that I'm really passionate about is the intersection of our EY Ripples and EY.AI program, where we're really trying to impact lives in the future through different aspects, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's the environment. For me personally, I'm really passionate about education. So really infusing and taking advantage of AI to help drive some of those other programs as well. We do this really cool program, Skill Passport, or the Passport Skill Set Development with Microsoft, really helping our youth across the world and have some ambitious agenda around it, have AI skills.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's individual, enterprise, society. Look, I have a lot of other questions, but I'll ask if the audience has any questions for you, any tough questions for Priyanka. And then Melissa? I
think not so tough questions as well.
Thanks, Priyanka. I loved how you talked about looking cross-function to find opportunities and sort of de-silo and using the managed services mechanism to help your clients with that. I think it's so important, but it sounds more easily said than done. So can you share how you do that and what some of your methodologies and mechanisms for that are?
Yeah, it isn't easy, and that goes to the heart of your question of why I think the managed services value proposition will sustain. So it goes to the heart of bringing our people and our specialists together with the managed services team. Right? So the processes, technology, delivering the compliance aspects of managed services stay strong, but also infusing in those teams folks that then develop the understanding of the business. And we're in such a position of privilege and responsibility, right? Because organizations are sharing with us what their forward-looking plans are, whether you're doing payroll or technology implementation, or you're working from a ongoing tax compliance perspective. Right? You have the responsibility and visibility into what future supply chain changes folks are looking into, or what future business changes people are looking into. And so then bringing in the lens of who else do we have within our organization that understands those areas is really how we find the value unlock.
Fantastic. Any other questions? So Priyanka, before we go, if let's say you had a magic wand and there was one wish that could come true in the next year, what would that be?
Oh boy, any wish or?
Let's stick to managed services. Let's stick to, I have this thing about moving to every different topic, but let's stick to managed services or related wish.
Yeah, I think it's I'm really passionate about our people. So the career value proposition and the evolution, and if you were looking for a short answer, I'm going to give you a slightly longer answer.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I've had the privilege and responsibility of working with our global delivery services organization most recently. And one of the things I'm incredibly proud of, that 100% of our executives in tax stepped forward and embraced learning how to be citizen developers. And they're leading by example for their teams. So, all of us are not going to become distinguished technologists, right? But can I do a low-code or no-code agent? And the sense of empowerment that gave me, I've actually developed an agent, right? But others as well, to be able to shape where their career journey takes them is really my wish and hope, and I think my responsibility, right, to help happen.
Fantastic. Did your agent work?
Yes. But could I do it again without help? We'll see.
So on that note, Priyanka, thank you so much for being a part of the HFS Summit. This was a fantastic conversation. I learned a lot. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.